Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie. Welcome to St Augustine, Florida.
Today's video, we're hoping to accomplish two different things. Number one, we're going to review a whiskey and tell you whether or not we would buy this whiskey. Number two, we're going to talk about a town in Florida and say whether or not we would visit there again and whether we think it's worth your time. If you're only interested in the first half of that, just watch the whiskey portion. And if you'd like to hear them both, stick around to hear about St. Augustine, Florida. First things first, we're going to talk about this whiskey that was sent to us by our friends Eric C. and Ruby Heart 921. Knob Creek Bourbon X Rye. Sounds extreme. Sounds like something we would have gotten in the 90s.
Yeah.
This is a blend of 9-year bourbon and 7-year rye. My understanding is that they actually use some of their cask strength, not just the Knob Creek 9 and the rye that you would find on the shelf. They actually blended this from their own stores and 113 proof.
Love it.
And I saw this on the shelf today for $46.
Okay. Is that a good deal?
I think that's a good deal.
Great.
Considering you're getting 7-year rye, 9-year bourbon, 113 proof. Knob Creek, you're well known for getting a lot for your money. We've seen it a lot in our travels, which is not something we've ever reached for. So we're very grateful to Eric C. and Ruby Heart 921 for providing us with this sample so we can tell you whether or not we're going to buy it next time we see it.
Very oaky.
Yeah.
A little spicy.
A touch spicy, yeah. You never know with a blend. You never know what you're going to get, right? So you've got a really nice bourbon influence here, but it does seem like there's a rye spice, a mintiness. I don't want to say it's going to be aggressive, but it seems like that spice is going to be pretty active in this sip right here. A little hint of fruitiness there, but the oak is prevailing on the nose, and that makes me very interested in this whiskey. Cheers.
Cheers. A lot of honey roasted peanuts on the initial sip for me.
Interesting. Wow. Changeling.
Yeah, it's a little dry too. My mouth is dried out.
Completely. Wow. Not at all what I expected.
118?
113.
113.
Yeah.
She feels warm.
I like the caramel notes here, the bourbon that shows up initially. A little bit of fruit, cherry, that sort of thing, typical. Even a little bit of blueberry that I sometimes get on cask strength Knob Creek stuff. Very flavorful. The rye shows up at the end.
Yes.
And there's almost like a wood paneling type of oak on there. It's not my favorite type of oak, but it's interesting. It's tasty.
You basically nailed it. As soon as you said that wood paneling oak, I got that flavor. I got the rush of blueberry, a good fruit presence. That rye kind of like washes in with the finish.
It ends on a very interesting note for me. It's buttery.
It is. Yeah.
I don't always find that on a whiskey. When I do, I tend to really like that.
Yeah.
This is really surprising me right now.
Yeah, this tastes like a U whiskey. Like the fruit presence isn't vibrant and, out there. It's not inherently sweet.
No.
So this is more of a savory, I would say like a savory drink.
Yeah, down to earth.
Down to earth.
A couple sips in here, and we're taking our time with this one because I think this is one of those whiskeys that you take 5 quick sips in succession, you're gonna go, oh, the spice is too powerful.
Yeah.
This is one that if you're gonna do a proper tasting, you have to slow it down and really enjoy it. And I am enjoying this. I don't know, I think the balance of this, I expected it to be way spicier than this.
Yeah.
And it is spicy, don't get me wrong, but this is a lot more balanced than I was expecting.
So what do you think about this? If you saw it on the shelf, would you buy it now?
Well, I've seen it on the shelf a lot, and I don't know if this is a permanent release or if it's a one-off or what they're going to do with this. I hope that it sticks around because I am enjoying it, and for that price point, I have to say, this is something that I would reach for. Other Boo Ryes that are out there that I do enjoy, I'm thinking something like Lost Monarch from Redwood Empire. That's my favorite Boo Rye of all time. This is literally 23 proof points higher than that one.
Right.
And they have a cask strength version of it, but that one didn't really hit my palate that much. I like regular Lost Monarch 90 proof if you can get it for $30, do it. But if you can't, and it's between this and Redwood's Lost Monarch cask strength, this is the one I'm going for. And it, save yourself half your money that way too, because that Redwood cask strength is pricey. I think this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. What a nice little summertime sipper. and save yourself some money, put it on the shelf. What do you think?
I don't generally gravitate towards Knob Creek stuff. It's palatable. I personally wouldn't buy a bottle of this. That's just because it doesn't hit my taste buds the way that I would want it to, but I definitely wouldn't turn it down in a glass if somebody gave it to me.
Well, there you go. If you see it at a bar, definitely check it out if you haven't bought a bottle. And if you do see it and you have the coin for it and you're thinking, I'm a Knob Creek fan, I'd probably like that. I bet you would. It's pretty good. Now, what we have to get on to at this point is St. Augustine, Florida.
Yeah, we didn't really know anything about St. Augustine, Florida before we went there. We just kind of saw it on the map and asked a couple of people if they'd ever been there, and everyone's like, you gotta go.
Yeah, we were leaving Hilton Head, and we were socked in the ice, and we left South Carolina just looking for someplace warm to go. This was right there on A1A, on Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. What's not to like? So
yeah.
We just got down there and parked and wound up having a great time every morning, going for a run on the beach, which was quite lovely. And then that's because we were camped outside of town. We only got into downtown for, I guess, one afternoon.
Yeah. One afternoon was really all we needed to figure out that we really liked it here and wanted to spend more time.
The town is very cool. The really, really old buildings and monuments and things like that. The first place that we went to was St. Augustine Distillery.
What a fun time that was. Really cool building. It was a free tour and tasting. They give you like different little cocktails along the way. So we had 4 little cocktails, one of their vodka, I think it was a Moscow Mule, and then we got their gin and tonic, and then we got like a buttered rum.
Oh yeah.
And then we got to go into the tasting room, and you could try anything.
You kind of got after it in the gin room. There were all these little containers where you could smell all the different botanicals that they put in their gin. Julie really enjoys gin, and you had a lot of fun there.
I had a great time, and basically because a lot of the things that you'd smell in that room are things that we talk about on this channel in bourbon. Orange peel, coriander, anise seed. For people that go to a lot of distilleries and do a lot of tours, it was kind of fun just to do your own self-guided. You could whip right through it and just get to the tasting at the end, or you could read all of the information, learn about the distillery, and really take your time there. So it was kind of a choose your own adventure, and it was fun.
Yeah, just walking in and having somebody immediately hand you a cocktail, great way to start a tour. And then the ice bar on the back side of it looked great. We didn't stop in there for food and drinks, but it looked very cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went and found ourselves some tacos.
We did.
Because that's what we do pretty much everywhere that we go. Drink whiskey, wreck tacos. And from there, we just sort of wandered through the town.
It was so beautiful. It kind of felt like walking through like a European city or a European town. It was cobblestones and alleyways, and yes, there was a lot of shopping in stores. It is a vacation town.
Yeah.
But you felt like you were on vacation. We basically just took an afternoon and just kind of got transported.
Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of time there. Like we said, you can spend very little time there and feel like you are really getting a nice experience. We walked over to the old fort and spent some time over there. That was cool to read all the plaques and learn all the history there. And then circled back to the oldest bar in St. Augustine. It's always nice to have a drink in an old bar.
We were just about to leave. Just go back, see Mavis, cash in for the night, and we hear the sound coming through the alleyway.
Oh man. Live jazz is like a siren song for us. If we hear it, we just start following it. And so we wound up at Prohibition Kitchen. Not only was the jazz trio up on stage fantastic, but they have a you call it old-fashioned menu where you can choose their single barrel whiskeys and then the type of syrup that you want and then the type of bitters that you want, and a delightful cocktail. But a big shout out to that jazz trio. We talked to them afterwards, 3 guys from UNF. And I said, you guys have an online presence? Do you get together a lot? And I said, not really. We just got together and played some music.
For being just 3 students, it was fantastic. Yeah. I had such a great time.
Yeah, those guys know their stuff. They were outstanding, and I hope that they keep going, and maybe they will become a big trio someday. I don't know, but they were fantastic. So it's great to see young people playing jazz and playing it so well. So that was our day in St. Augustine, and what do you think? You recommend people go there?
You definitely have to check it out. It was so beautiful. You could spend as much or as little time as you want. We didn't do the tour of the fort. We sat outside, had a cup of coffee, and kind of just took in the whole experience, took the view, the beautiful water. And just to do that, even if you had an hour, was worth the stop. But the city is so quaint and beautiful. I loved it.
Whether you were staying outside the city like we did and just enjoying the nature side of things, or if you're actually in the city proper, enjoying all the history and the beauty that they have to offer there, I highly recommend St. Augustine, Florida. And if you go, drop into Prohibition Kitchen and see if that jazz trio is playing again, and encourage them to keep going because they were fantastic from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It is humid here.
Such a change from the snow.
Man.
Want more Bourbon Van? Join us on Patreon for as little as $3 a month and get access to exclusive videos and live streams, music and whiskey pairings, and guaranteed opportunities to purchase our single barrel whiskey selections. Plus, obligatory Mavis photos with nearly every post.